Day 3 VMware Explore Barcelona. And John, we are here with the king of VMUG. Are you still the king? Is it the king of VMUG? What's your new title?
I don't know about that. I don't know about that. I'm the executive director of VMUG, and it's an honor to represent such a great community. And we do a lot of different things. People know us for our user cons and events, but I tell people that we're in the career building business because so many people have taken advantage of VMUG, and it's really propelled their career, and it's just exciting to be whatever part of that I'm in. I'm just excited and honored to be whatever piece of it I am.
Well, Brad, yeah, we've known you for years. We've worked closely, obviously VMware working closely with VMUG.
Sure.
But even from my own personal perspective, John, I'm sure you have a similar story, but for me, like my very first job in IT, I was, my first assignment was I had to prepare for a VMUG and actually go present, and I was scared to death. I was like, what? What do I have to, in front of these technical people, I have to actually talk? And it was frightening initially, but the thing I learned very quickly was that that was when I was like literally introduced into the VMware community, the V community, if you will, and man, it's been great ever since.
Well, and I like you talking about that presentation, because one thing I know Duncan always talks about is if you want to present at conferences and things like that, you need to get some practice out there. And I find the communities are very receptive, very welcoming, particularly if you're wanting to get into the early days of like, hey, I've done something cool, I want to show it. It's a great place to get started with presentations. Yeah. You're going to find, it's the home audience, so to speak, your local user group. But I also like, Brad, what you said earlier about, this is in the career industry, just because, looking around my local user group, just making the story personal here in Houston, two of the previous VMUG leaders currently work for VMware.
That happens a lot.
And the same, and both of them have worked in, the specific job that I've held. Like, this is a path for career in all kinds of different directions. It's definitely the connections I see. People not just helping each other with problems, but connections in terms of advancing their career. Either internally through learning more, but also externally is incredible.
Absolutely. And we survey our members every year, and one of the things that's been popping up to the top about things that they want to learn more about is professional development.
Yeah.
And a lot of VMUG members, they've got the technical chops, but when you add that presentation skills and the public speaking, that really can help you out, because let's face it, that vSphere admin job that served us well the past decade, you got to do more now. Move up and into VCF, hyperconverge, whatever it's going to be. But when you're talking about solutions like that, you need to be able to articulate the value prop, to the C-levels, to the directors, to make sure, okay, we're not just saying, hey, can I take 100 servers and get it virtualized down into 10? Well, that's a no-brainer. But if you're talking about deploying VCF, that's a bigger conversation.
Absolutely.
Because it gets into more of the HR things. It's the people in the process, not just the technology, and you have to be able to articulate that to a wider audience. It might not be technical.
I agree, and while the VMUG is not a public speaking training class, certainly good practice for that, but honestly, there's also a lot of great content to consume. Depending on the size of the VMUG. Like sometimes in Raleigh, they'll have just like a couple of sessions for a month, but then you go like to the Boston or the Indy VMUG, and there's like 1,000 plus people there, and there's a ton of great sessions. I mean, a lot of really great content, and a lot of times, not everybody can go to VMware Explore, so it's almost like a mini VMware Explore where you can actually network, and learn and make great contacts and stuff like that. So yeah, overall, I don't know. I've always thought that the VMUGs have been a huge part of the whole VMware ecosystem.
Yeah, they are the user cons are like a little mini, VMware Explore, and it's a great way to build your network. And our call for content is open, so if you are thinking about putting a session together, put your name into the call for content. If it's a community session, we'll actually fly you to a user con if you get chosen.
Oh, wow.
So that's a great way.
Fancy.
And then think about that when you're on your resume. It's like, oh, go to your boss. Oh, I've been asked to fly to X city to go present on our solution. Everybody has a story. Make sure you're telling your story, and it'll help out the community and help you out in the process.
So if I submit a session, can I say Brad said that it's okay? And
Absolutely.
No pull, or okay.
Submit away.
So what's new these days with the VMware, with the VMUG and the VMUserCon? Any new updates? Anything changed lately?
Yeah, so we're winding down this year with our user cons. We've got about 4 or 5 left, but we're looking at next year. What can we do to make things a little bit more fun and engaging? So be on the lookout for that. We're still in the planning process, but we're going to continue with the UserCon model, and we do about 25, 28 of those across the globe. Local chapters are very important as well.
Sure.
But we're seeing a lot of traction with VMUG Advantage. And if you're familiar with VMUG Advantage,
Yes.
Well, first of all, VMUG membership is free. So everybody out there, go join. Go to vmug.com/join. Become a member. It's free. Make sure you get tuned into your local community. Select whatever city you're in. Now, VMUG Advantage is a paid subscription. It's $200 US a year. But you get discounts on training, which is very important. That's 20 to 35% off of training and certification. And then the big thing is the eval experience. So that's nearly all the VMware licenses that you can use. 365-day license key, home lab only, not for production.
Yeah. But I mean, I've seen people who are like, oh, I'm looking at buying an essentials bundle for my homies. I'm like, do not do that. Go do VMUG Advantage.
Exactly.
Like, because it's one of those things of, I think the cheapest license you could ever buy from VMware was like $600 for that, and it gets you like one product with some of the features versus, VMUG Advantage, it probably gets you like $2.5 million worth of software or something.
Yes.
Like I've seen people build some crazy data centers for their home labs using this, virtualizing the storage, the networking, automating everything.
I mean, talk about professional development, getting your hands on this stuff and being able to build this, and then going in and having an interview being like, oh yeah, I've already deployed that, I've already set that up.
And we have hands-on labs, but the problem is that resets when you log out. People want to build persistent labs, they want to try different things, they really want to get messy with it, go completely off the rails.
You want to fully open the hood and see exactly what's going on with these software. You want to make the mistakes. You want to learn how to fix it. You want to be able to, that's how you create a conversation with someone saying, oh, I know how to deploy this. This is what you need to consider. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, on the VMware subreddit, there's basically, I see at least like once a week, someone's like, hey, you need to just go buy VMUG Advantage. Like, this is what you're looking for. And home labbing is becoming, there's a lot of good hardware falling off lease that plays into this. It is, I thought home labbing was going to die, everything's going to go to the cloud or that, but like, no, people are more than ever, they're able to get a lot of bang for buck on what they can run in their home lab, So
what's the largest VMware UserCon these days? I think back in the day it used to be Indianapolis. Is it still?
It did. No, it's actually the Netherlands. They had almost 800 people at their event.
Nuts.
Dutch. You got Joris and Johan. I mean, they run a great one. In fact, he did a session today on his home lab. So that was pretty good. We had William Lamb do it at VMworld in Vegas.
Nice.
Excuse me, VMware Explorer in Vegas. So what's that? but yeah, so that's the biggest one. The biggest one in the U.S. was Boston. So yeah, but it's
that was my first one was Boston, and I was nervous as could be. Yeah, no,
good
that's
nerves,
fantastic.
Good nerves.
Yeah.
And
it's all part
now.
of the process. And look at me now, holding a microphone. No, obviously it's been a huge part of my career, and I think it's a big, just from the networking, as I mentioned, and the ability to learn and practice. It's been a great program for me. I highly recommend anybody to at least sign up for the VMUG free, and then if you're into career development, you're going to want to look at the VMUG Advantage. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's right. And we've got a lot of members that present at VMware Explore. In fact, 30% of all attendees are VMUG members, which is a great number, but we always want to see that bigger. So again, if you're not part of VMUG, make sure you go and join. It's a free membership. Can't say that enough, but we'd like to see that number at 100%. But I'm proud about the 30% as well. That's a big contingency here. Not only attendees, but speakers as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll put a link in the bottom and also in the show notes of the podcast on how to become a VMUG member. But Brad, thank you so much for joining, and enjoy the rest of your Explore.
Fantastic. Thank you all for having me. It's always a pleasure.
All right.